Deep breaths. We're diving into this thrilling world of data privacy agreements, and I know, try to contain your excitement. I am John Lyman, and for the next little while, we're talking about the shiny new NDPA version 2.1. We never had access to a 2.0, which is fine. But this is 2.1, and I'm going to give you a sneak peek at the upcoming Registry 2.0. So let's think of this less as of like a legal lecture and more of like a privacy party preview. So what's on the menu today? Well, we're going to cover what is this NDPA thing. I saw a list of folks that have been here since, the 20 teens and some folks that this is brand new. So we're going to, I'll line that out for you. What is this NDPA thing and why should you care? What's this new version 2.1? Did they add like racing stripes? How does this affect your day to day? What exciting cliffhangers are coming in the next NDPA saga? Then the big reveal, Registry 2.0. And finally, how we're rolling this out, how you can get involved. Yes, please help get involved. And a little thing called certification. Ready? Let's go. Okay, before we get into the nitty gritty, let's talk fundamentals. We're rolling out a new version, a new system, so we're asking everyone to go through a quick certification. This will happen probably towards the middle of the summer as we start pivoting to a new registration. And I know now some of you are thinking, John, I've been doing this since FERPA was a pamphlet, and we appreciate that. But think of the legendary coach John Wooden. First practice, he taught all Americans how to put on their socks. Why? Well, because wrinkles cause blisters, and blisters mean mispractice, and mispractice hurts the team. Our wrinkles are compliance errors. Our blisters, let's just say they're painful. This isn't about doubting you, it's about making sure that we all have updated fundamentals down pat with these new tools. So let's translate that. Wrinkles, small errors, that's like, skipping fields, using old forms, tiny things that, trip us up. Blisters, some negative consequences, audit findings, breaches, wasted time, explaining why that cool new app isn't approved yet. Smooth socks, tied shoes, using an NDPA version 2.1 correctly, filling things in accurately, mastering the registry, nailing that new Exhibit G. What? Exhibit G? Winning games. That means us as an alliance. Using these cool tools to help students without accidentally giving away the digital farm. So let's take these teachings, getting everyone on the same page, using the same playbook. Remember, these are legal documents, folks, but no pressure. So, what is the National Data Privacy Agreement, NDPA? Think of it as a standardized contract template like Mad Libs for data privacy, but less funny and more legally binding. It's built for K-12 to use with vendors handling student data. Its main superpower, streamlining. It provides pre-vetted terms so that you're not arguing over basic privacy protections every single time. For Utah, it's huge. It aligns with FERPA, our state laws, helps vendors to be compliant, and drastically cuts down the time you spend wrestling with legal review. I can tell you that the versions that we've been using over the United States and all of our partners collaboratively nationally, that the Exhibit E and the NDPA have saved districts, charters, and vendors around $50 million in saved time and going back and forth. So why should we bother with this standardized thing? I just said it saves time and resources. Less back and forth means faster reviews, more time for, well, everything else. Ensures that baseline compliance hits those key federal and state requirements consistently. Check. Reduces negotiation burden. Focus on the unique stuff, not boilerplate language you've seen a million times. Promotes consistency. It means all of us know what to expect. I mean, some of us have had vendors present us with the NDPA. Less confusion, more predictability, and it leverages national expertise. Smart folks, privacy experts, and lawyers, built and vetted this thing using their brain power. Let's use it together. Who are these smart folks? Well, meet some of these key players. Rama Hawley from Tech, the Education Cooperative. They do what we do here in Utah, but for 10 states. She's the operational guru managing a lot of the agreements. Jim Siegel from FPF, bringing his deep policy wisdom, and Mark Williams from F3 Law. He's the legal eagle ensuring it's all sound, and it all happens under the umbrella of the Student Data Privacy Consortium and the Access for Learning community, which I will tell you, if you guys don't know, our former chief privacy officer and the subject of most of our training, Mr. David Saleh, is now the director of privacy for SDPC and A4L. It does take a village to raise a data privacy agreement. So how do these changes like V2.1 happen? Well, it's just not random. It's managed through the A4L communities process. Ideas bubble up from teams of people like you, vendors and experts. They get discussed, vetted, and eventually need approval from the A4L board. It's designed to be thoughtful and broadly supported, like no sudden ninja updates. Okay, so the good stuff. What is better in V2.1? Fillable text boxes. No, we in Utah have had that, but now it's all locked in. Cheer the sound effect. No more wrestling with static PDFs. Easier to complete, easier to read. Hallelujah. The required fields are clearly marked. We're not going to be sending things back like, oops, we missed that moment. We've got more consistency. Exhibit E's layout is reformatted. It's cleaner, clearer, listing of the data elements, less squinting involved. And auto Exhibit E auto-populating, that magic wand? In the system like 2.0, basic info like the LEA name, date, product will autofill from the main agreement, fewer typos, less work. So, quick detour to Exhibit A. That's where you will list all the products in this agreement that it covers. Now listen up. If a vendor wants to add different products later or make changes that clash with the main DPA terms using an addendum, they generally can't just use an addendum to remove the original product. So think of it like you change your dinner order after the chef already started cooking the first one. Also, if they do use an addendum, like their own terms, they must clearly tell you, and you typically have about 30 days to object if it conflicts with the NDPA core law. So let's keep them honest. And we're going to have a lot of ways to cross-check a lot of this stuff. I will add that one of the reasons that the addendum portion of this exists is because there is no disposition for this document. It doesn't come with a term. The one that we have been working with comes with a 3-year term. So we will not be running into a scenario where we will need to renew this, given that it's going to be built, I believe, to continue to grow as we need. And we're going to talk about some of those growth points here in a little bit. So, Exhibit G. As most of you know, Exhibit G has been kind of the, I know, like, there are other states that say, hey, Utah, we want to become like you and have a blank Exhibit G. For those of you that don't know, Exhibit G is where we as in the state can put in terms, things that we need. California has quite a few. Our tech friends, 10 states, they've got a lot of stuff. Their Exhibit Gs are probably 10 pages long. We've never had an Exhibit G feature, but we've decided, and we feel like this is a best practice for all of us to add some components. And as you can see here, these components are We are just restating our audit provisions. A lot of the times when vendors would get stuck in negotiation, they wanted to go back and forth with us on some of the language regarding the boilerplate language. And so this is just a restatement to them that this is a statute of ours and it's not negotiable. Also, we have another statute that asks for subprocessors to be named. And we know that some of you have been very interested in what Dave Bowman is, you know, adding to our collective vernacular is these fourth parties. It's who is being shared with. It could be examples, maybe Salesforce or AWS or some other. Who are they sharing their stuff with? And so we would be asking for a link. We don't need them to tell us every time they've got somebody new, but we want to be able to kind of see down that chain of command. And then Katie just talked about GDPA. I accidentally call it GDPR sometimes. Be careful about that. GDPR is the European privacy law, for those of you that are new with us, and it's a great privacy law. But we don't want to confuse the two. Part of GDPA is us getting the affirmation or the assurance from the vendor as to not only what student data is being collected as far as what the other laws are concerned, but now what employee data is being collected. And so we have added a mechanism in our Exhibit G so that you don't have to create a mechanism to now meet that law in some other form or fashion. We here in education now are just going to bake this in. And as a statute, it can act in this Exhibit G way, even though the whole thing is about student data. We're parking this in there as well. And so there will be an opportunity for them to go through. We've also formatted it so that the vendor doesn't just put like a little X, little check, something that could be like erased or superimposed later, that it's actually a drop down that says that's asking them to declare whether or not the data points are not collected, whether they are optionally collected or it's an optional, or whether it's required. And so we're trying to be very specific on a lot of these minor points. Our Exhibit G, it's ready to go. It's a part of our new template. I'll also say this, because of that, and because of how Exhibit H, for those of you that know, and for those of you that don't, Exhibit H is where the vendor wants to come back and add some of their stuff. And that's totally understandable. Vendors, like I said, have come to the table in the designing of this agreement, the new one. And so a lot of the pushback should be kind of just, boiled out a little bit. But what we're hoping is that we use less of the one on the right going forward, because as you can see, the one on the left is very favorable to scaling in the state of Utah if you are a product or a vendor. And what it would allow you to do is to continue to function the same way that we always have been, that one LEA, any one of the 157 of us, that generates an original agreement, an originating agreement with my fictitious company, Superlearn. Once that originating agreement is signed, as you can see here, all of the provisions A, B, C, D, E, F, G, E, F, G will be included in this. However, it won't come with an Exhibit H. We're not going to allow them to say no. But what we will give them is the opportunity to use Exhibit E. It will be subscribable. They can sign one of them and spread like the crickets before the seagulls came and ate them. But should they want to be protective of their IP or any sort of other pieces, they will be allowed to do that. It may be a little bit more of a negotiation process, because we're going to want to, take the time and energy that it has been taking us to go through this process. Uh, because really what we wanted to do is reduce burden for you folks and make this easy for everybody. And so if a vendor really wants to push back, that's fine. And we can approve their language. But they're just not going to have the ability to have an Exhibit E. It will be vendor specific and it will be standalone. And if they want to scale in Utah, then it would require probably 156 independent vendor specific DPAs. So that is something for negotiations going forward to consider. But I know that the team and I are excited about this because honestly, what it's going to do, it's going to allow us going into the new registry with what I jokingly call brand new furniture. We don't want to go into the new house with the old furniture. Let's make sure that everything that goes in here for the sake of your LEA, your records, your transparency, our alliance, our ability to be strong. I've got to tell you, we've been to some national conferences in the last month, our team, and it's always refreshing, jaw dropping, and provides a lot of gratitude to recognize that, yeah, we've got these laws and we have this compliance and it's tedious and we don't understand it all the time. And yeah, it depends and it depends. But I'll tell you, it depends a lot more in some of those other states, of which there are many, that don't have any of this. They don't have any of this. And there may come certain situations down the line to where we're going to have the metrics to say, we are following the law, and Utah is doing that. Nicole can tell you what we're at with our current compliance percentage. We are far and away one of the top states in this nation. I want you guys to take a minute and pat yourselves on the back because, we all deserve to really say, over the last 5 years, COVID has really kind of kicked a lot of folks' butts, and we did the impossible. We switched what was a 10-year rollout of let's get everybody one-to-one and have this ability to be digital and virtual in 2 weeks, and retroactively tried to get agreements and all sorts of things back in place with all of those things that teachers just snagged from the Facebook groups that they were in because they've never had to teach virtually before. And the amount of damage control and the amount of serious participation that you folks have given us, um, it's remarkable, and it really sets the stage for other states. Um, you do not have access to the agreement PDF right now. Nobody does. Our team has it. Um, you will have access. Well, I'll talk about that in a little bit. I'll give you a little bit of a cliffhanger. So what's brewing for future NDPA versions? Well, the crystal ball shows discussions around targeted advertising. How do we tighten the rules around using student data for ads? That needs some clarity. Nicole Sanchez has been working big on this artificial intelligence piece. This is the big one. As AI tools explode in edtech, how do we ensure transparency, fairness, and privacy? It's complex and it's moving fast. Our friends in California have already adopted an addendum that is an AI addendum. It's amazing. If it were to be included, as you can see with how the document is structured, it would probably be in like a version 2.2, as to not have to renew and do some of those other tedious pieces. So look for that. Also on the radar, limited liability requests. Vendors often want to cap their liability. How does that square with school risks? It's tricky. Other types of DPAs, you guys do know that we have an NRDPA in Utah. We are one of the only states that has the R SDPA, R meaning research, because it uses the studies exception in FERPA. So if you are working with researchers or higher ed, I would think that you might want to look into that. So as everything that we've talked about, any questions that you have, please drop it in the chat. Please, let us know. And actually, I think that I was going to show this I think I have this thing. And I don't know if the team has ever seen that before, but I guess I have this as part of my speaker thing. If you want to anonymously ask questions, I guess you could just go drop it on that little link. Let's give that a try. And I can take a look at that. If that's how you'd like to go about it. But yeah, other types of DPAs. What about with auditors, consultants, school photographers? They need slightly different handling than our typical EdTech app, and the NDPA might need siblings. Okay, bringing it home. Utah's unique landscape. Remember, the NDPA is national. Always ensure it aligns with our specific laws. We've done that. 53E-9-3. Exhibit G helps, but you still need to review everything carefully. Ask vendors these questions. Where's data housed? Is it in the US? What are your deletion details? Handling parent access requests. Specifics on their security measures, not just checkboxes. Dig deep. Resource alignment. Don't go it alone. Use our resources and tap into our alliance. Use our list serves. The people in this chat are the best friends you can have in this space. Find somebody that is at an LEA that is at the same size and scale that you are. And, or maybe they have the same sort of principles or mission statement. Connect with folks. I see that you guys using our list serves all the time to be like, what do we do about surveillance and what's the best way to do printers? And I just love all of that stuff. Let's think of it this way. The NDPA provides the what? The agreement terms. The upcoming Registry 2.0 provides the how, the platform to manage the agreements efficiently. We always like to refer to SDPC as your digital filing cabinet. It is designed to do exactly this work with the actual contracts, with the sharing it, with making sure that we have all of that stuff in our CYA. It's great for showing out to teachers what's available. It's okay for requesting new products. A lot of that stuff is really taken care of by the 4 products that we're going to be talking about here in a little bit. What SDPC does really well right now is act as that digital filing cabinet. I mean, we know that you all have unique workflows, and we're going to transition to these things, and we're working on it. And seriously, those listservs, the questions, the best resource, is each other. So there's been some sandboxes that have been played in, and they've got a lot of feedback. And a lot of you, based on some things that we've asked throughout some of our different USPA meetings and whatnot, here's some key things that we learned. Make it easier and faster, less clicking, more magic, automation and clarity. I'm going to tell you that there will be a feature called dynamic agreements. They will be able to have dynamic agreements where it will all just take place in the cloud. It's magic. Better communication, ways to chat within the system, LEAs to LEAs, announcements, smarter agreement management, how to handle the versions, expirations, multiple resources. We're on it. More insight, better reporting and analytics. Help us help you. We need good training materials. So think about that. So based on the feedback, they're prioritizing workflow. They want longer expiration warnings. 120 plus days for those that are going to expire. Lots of bulk actions like bulk approvals, bulk requests, automated agreement steps, maybe even automated signatures, like I said, handling multiple resources under one DPA sanely, and assume an admin identity feature for better support so that we can see you, we can help you. Your dashboard. I don't know if some of you noticed, but I have been banging on the door for years to get the kid's head. Like, I like kids, but the kid's head, I'll taking up the whole thing. And finally, it's gone. But the dashboard is going to be better. Better alerts, better announcements, things that you can dismiss. And like I said, LEA to LEA communication. So high on the list, agreement details, tracking declined products, handling different NDPA versions smoothly, resource management. We're going to have these things that we're calling like the vendors. It's going to be like we call it like a baseball card. So clear info when adding in resources, like there'll be like a coach, an auto-populating data, better attachments, unfollow option. If you're following the process of somebody else getting a DPA, you'll be able to kind of see that. Your user experience will be much better. Reporting, all of this is going to be super, super customizable. Um, Tweaking language slightly, collects from collecting process. It's going to be very customizable for you on the LEA level. It's going to be really, I mean, I played with it. I can't really show you a lot. Are these playing in the background? Let me make sure. So this is part of the sandbox. I went to try to like go on and they canceled all of my permissions. They're working with the University of Cincinnati right here to do this. But as you can see here, are you guys able to see my new tab? Maybe not. Oh, maybe. I hope. But if you can,
John, we can see it.
okay, cool. As you see here, it's going to be much more comprehensive in a lot of different ways. And like I said, very customizable. Let's just start here. Okay. So, all right. Standard agreements with an Exhibit E. These will be subscribable, easy for other LEAs to adopt. Vendor-specific agreements for unique vendors will be on there. We're going to do sandbox data. We know that you need a stable sandbox for training materials. We're working on that. Can we start uploading it now? Good question. For now, let's just stick with the current process. What I would like is we're going to start beta testing this a little bit. Let's see here. All right. Phased rollout. We'll launch Registry 2.0 in phases to keep things stable and tweak based on feedback. So call for beta testers. We need you. Seriously. Help us make Registry 2.0 awesome. You'll get early access, use it with real agreements, and give structured feedback. Influence the final product, get comfy with it early, and be a hero to your fellow LEAs. We'll send out a sign-up form soon. This will be the group that will start using the NDPA 2.1 to actually make agreements. When those agreements are completed, I will have those agreements sent to me. And then that way I will have them locked in. And then we will be adding them as we go. There is no version 2 yet. So so everybody's continuing with version 1 currently. This new one, though, we will reach out here within the next couple of days to get a group together and have an SDPC Registry advisory group so that we can make sure that these agreements work correctly as we put them out. So, yeah, we're going to send out a sign-up form soon, and please consider joining the fun.
Hey,
And
John,
finally, yes.
there's a question in the chat you might want to address. It's from Troy Lunt.
Yeah.
He says, I have been holding off from processing a bunch of NDPAs knowing this version 2 was coming. Should I proceed with V1?
Yes. Yeah, that's the one that I was writing. Yeah, you can continue with it unless we reach out to you.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh, John, sorry, just so
Yeah.
I'm clear, I guess. I thought that what you were just talking about was the registry, right? The 2.0 registry.
And the NDPA.
Oh, okay.
That's what I wanted to clarify. Thanks, Jeremy.
Because there's nowhere to post the NDPA 2.1 yet. We can't use the current registry to put it on there because it hasn't been activated because there aren't any other states that are using version 2.1 yet. We're first. So,
But are you going to reach out to people or do you want people to
yes.
reach out to you if they are interested?
Reach out if you're interested. And if it's something I'm interested in, folks that know this landscape, that don't have to correct DPAs often, that upload DPAs often, that originate DPAs often, that know more about SDPC's website than maybe they do. I know that there are some of you out there that have figured out how to hack it and find security issues. So those would be the folks that are I'm sounds like Troy Lunt. You can't tell everybody that Troy Lunt is one of the people on the list. It's probably not even Troy. It's Nicole Reynolds. But Troy can hang out, I suppose. All right, last piece. User certification. Don't panic. The goal of this is to ensure that everyone has a solid grasp of NDPAv 2.1 and how to use Registry 2.0 effectively before getting access. What it might look like, probably just reviewing key materials or short videos with a quick knowledge check. Think driver's ed, but for data privacy agreements. Why? So that we can reduce common mistakes, ensure consistency. Folks that have been around longer than I have still make mistakes, even though they've done hundreds of these. I know, we need to learn how to put our socks on without wrinkles. You can be 6'9" and built like a truck, but if you've got an itty bitty blister, you can't do anything. So let's reduce those common mistakes, ensure consistency, make adoption smoother for everyone. It's that same playbook idea again. More details are coming soon. We'll share specifics well in advance. It's designed to be helpful, not painful. Okay, that was a lot. But hopefully, more treat than torture. We covered the updated NDPA, the awesome potential of Registry 2.0, and how we're moving forward together. And we'll keep an eye out for that beta tester sign up. And it's time for us to closing.